Hi guys, welcome back to Tigaritana. My name is Abby, and today we are going to be doing the weekly chakra healing video. And I was really called on using the Game of Thrones deck. I kind of had it in my mind earlier today when I'm like, oh, which deck I'm going to use? And for some reason, I was gravitating towards this one, and I was like, why am I gravitating towards this one specifically? So I was kind of contemplating on it, and I think it's because a lot of the imagery is very cold, as the show is as well. But currently the moon is in Scorpio, so there's just, there's a lot of stuff there's a lot of dark aspects going on. Like, I feel like a lot of people are going through a lot of things. Last week I had to take a break from just my business and pretty much everyone actually, because I had a death in my family, and the funeral was yesterday. So it's a interesting synchronicity, because I do have my 4th house in Scorpio, which is the house of home and family. So it's kind of interesting how that happened. I also had to do yesterday I had to do the ceremony of welcoming in a new ancestor, which is very beautiful. So it's been a bit interesting week. I had a lot of visions. I've been doing a lot of death work. Been working with Oya a lot this week. And so I don't know why, but I felt compelled to use this deck. So we're going to use the Game of Thrones deck and see what comes up for this week. I do feel like there's kind of a looming into a little bit of the lightness that February is going to be. I feel like January is ending in like it's just kind of a little bit of heavy of a note. So we'll see what comes up through the reading. But we have a beautiful, beautiful Aquarius moon happening next week, when we see each other again for the reading on Monday. And I'm really, really excited about it. This new moon should be, well, for me, listen, we're gonna have to, I do need to add another video for the spellbook series, so that's coming. But it's just, I have Aquarius in my 7th house and 8th house, actually, fun stuff. And my Venus is in Aquarius, so it's very much a focusing on love type of time for me, which is also weird because there's also other stuff going on, like all these other things going on, and I'm like, ugh. So it's been a lot. So yeah, we'll see what comes up. Next week's gonna be interesting though. Get ready for the love spell videos, because that's coming. So for this week, what is our blockage in our root chakra this week? What is our boom? I just started, and here we go. Okay. Oh god. Okay. So I'm gonna grab these the same way that this came out. So the 7 of Swords upright, the Ace of Swords, and the Queen of Coins in reverse. So that's really interesting. I feel like there's something that needs to be said this week. Also, I do have the Akashic Records open, so we're gonna talk about it. There's something that needs to be said this week that will bring some clarity into your own groundedness energy, but it's acting in hindrance instead of helping. So it's very weird root energy, I feel like, anyway. So, ooh, wait, hold on, no, because I didn't ask what it was. No. Okay, so how can we best heal our root chakra this week? Hold on. What? Okay. Jesus. Okay, so. Okay. Alright. Okay, a lot of cards came out. The Emperor, the World, the 3 of Cups, 6 of Swords, Strength, 9 of Swords. So, ooh, a lot of people are going to have to just check themselves this week. I can see that. Okay, I'm just gonna stack them like this and then open them up after. Let me see, did anything else come out? No. Okay, so let me not put my hair too close to there because then I will end up. What is our blockage for our sacral chakra this week? What is our blockage for our sacral chakra this week? King of Swords and the Sun. So some of you guys need to accept something. 8 of Coins at the bottom of the deck. How can we best heal our sacred space this week? First card out is Temperance. So the Moon in Sagittarius might help you a little bit get lucky in this space. Let's heal our sacral space this week, which should be happening right after, I believe, the Moon goes into Sag. Is it tonight or tomorrow? It's either tonight or tomorrow. And then we have Justice. So it's 2 major arcanas, Temperance and Justice. That's very interesting. In our sacral space. So there's kind of a lot of, first of all, karma being dealt, but waiting on something to develop. What is blocking our solar plexus this week? What is blocking our solar plexus this week? We have the Fool, the 8 of Cups. Oh God, okay. Can we best heal our solar plexus this week? Okay, 8 of Coins, 8 of Swords, 2 8s. 2 8s. 8 of Coins, 8 of Swords. Okay. What is blocking our heart chakra this week? Yeah, I need to stop it. Okay, hold on. Oh God. Why does the heart chakra have to have like the longest story of all time? Y'all be holding all the trauma in here, okay? Y'all need to release. Let it go. Oh my God, I finally watched Frozen with my sister early last week. It wasn't all that. It wasn't all that. I was just like, it just wasn't all that. Okay, so we have the Magician. Lord Jesus. Okay. The Magician. The Chariot. The Hierophant. Then we have the 6 of Cups, the 9 of Swords, the 9 of Wands, and the King of Coins. So this is a whole story. We don't talk about this though, because that's a whole entire story of life. Okay, how can we best heal our heart chakra this week? Who can live? Okay, the Lovers. Yeah, the 10 of Swords in reverse, and then we have the 2 of Cups. So there is a there is like a soulmate situation happening this week. Like a pretty, we gonna talk about it. Okay, what is blocking our third eye this week? What is blocking our third eye this week? Okay, so we have the 5 of Swords and the 9 of Pentacles is blocking our third eye. We gonna talk about this. How can we best heal our third eye this week? How can we best heal? Some of you guys need to stop letting people affect your glow up. Like, it's getting critical. It's getting critical. Okay, so we have the 2 of Swords, the Page of Cups in reverse, and the Queen of Cups. That's a pretty big message right there, especially for the third eye. Like, I mean, I'm sorry, the third. I mean, that it's just nah. Okay, what is blocking our third eye this week? Third eye chakra this week. Third eye chakra this week. Okay, 7 of Spears, 4 of Coins, 7 of Spears. What? Y'all have like the weirdest anxiety in places that you guys shouldn't have anxiety in. How can we best heal our third eye chakra this week? Let's heal our third eye chakra this week. Get the Moon and the Page of Coins. Okay. Crown chakra. What's blocking our crown chakra this week? These things be doing acrobatics. The Ace of Wands. These things be doing acrobatics out here. What's blocking our of Wands, Knight of Coins. See, even though we're in Aquarius season, your root chakra will affect the hell out of you when it comes to energy. And the moon's going to be in Capricorn this week, so y'all need to do some earth, you know. How can we best heal our crown chakra this week? Let's heal our crown chakra this week. Oh god. Okay. We have the 10 of Cups in reverse and the 2 of Wands. You know, there's a scene from Avatar that just came to my head when I just saw these 2 cards, and I was like, ooh. Bottom of the deck, we have the High Priestess, or the Priestess in this deck, and the Queen of Wands. Okay, I guess I'm gonna have to talk to y'all. Hold on, because I need some juice if I need some tea, if I need to yell at you guys about some stuff. Okay, so for the root chakra, 7 of Swords, Ace of Swords in reverse, Queen of Coins in reverse. There is something that has gotten so much out of control in your life that you have literally allowed to not only unground you, but also really mess with your head. This 7 of Swords is just like, hey, I'm taking up all of your time. You cannot stop thinking about this, whether it was a lie or something that you saw through, or, you know, got past where it was a realization. It's something that you have not accepted enough to actually come back into your power and be like, oh wait, okay, so this happened, but this is how I'm going to address it. Instead of addressing it, there's like a disconnect from what you should be doing. It's almost like you don't want to see it, you don't want to, like, you know, but then you don't want to kind of process it, like integrate it into yourself. This truth that was discovered, you do not want to integrate it. It's something that's really stuck, and you're not able to flourish or really move anywhere because you're stuck in this one place. And it's kind of like, it's gunky. It's like mud. It's like you can't really, it's like mud that you cannot walk in. That's what this is. And especially because your mind doesn't even know where to go. Like you're walking on mud, but you're not looking up to a direction of where it's going to get you out of the mud. Like you're just not looking anywhere. So it's just kind of like there's a stuck type of energy happening in the root chakra that you really should address. And the best way to heal that this week, we have the Emperor, the World. And this really speaks on your personal power, but also the World. Also remember that that's Saturn, and the Emperor, which always will be Aries energy, especially. And also don't forget that Uranus is in Aries still. Like it moved back into Aries, and it will be moving back into Taurus soon, in March. But it's still in Aries, so there is still an energy of you, your path, your journey, what it is, what it's gonna look like. There's gonna be shakeups in between there, courtesy of Uranus, in order to get you into a different flow of where you're supposed to be. So this is about coming into your power, literally accepting your power, accepting your journey. This is kind of like one of those, you know, everybody's born alone and dies alone type of situations. That's what that means. Then we have the 3 of Cups and the 6 of Swords with strength, and then the 9 of Swords. And what this is saying, it's really about a situation that you need to accept when you need to be collective and when you need to detach. This is very much an Aquarius type of combination of cards here, especially when it comes with the Emperor and the World. The Aquarius is disconnect in order to be able to see the truth, to be able to see situations, to be able to really look at the collective objectively and see where the issues are. And that's what you're kind of getting asked to do. You can go ahead and play and have your fun, but also don't forget to disconnect in order for you to actually address yourself and look at the world for what it is, not just what you want so badly. And what will you find there? Strength. The 9 of Swords energy definitely speaks on kind of the anxiety and the kind of, this is a very Gemini kind of thing that we do, where we kind of just have so many thoughts that it's almost overwhelming and we cannot, like, it's just a lot here. But the thing is that this is actually a power to have, and to be able to kind of go through all these thoughts and address them as they come through. And the way you do that is by disconnecting and having the strength to address your thoughts head on, which is what the root chakra was saying, instead of kind of trying to get lost in, again, getting lost in the mental mud of your brain, but really saying, okay, I'm actually going to think about, why do I feel this way? Okay, if this is the love situation, why is this person making me feel this way? Why does this person do this? Why does this person treat me like this? If it's about work, you can apply this to anything. Why is this situation just weird? Why does it feel like my intuition's telling me something? Why does it feel like there's something here that I just can't grasp? What is it about it? What was the moment? Literally tunnel vision into these specific experiences so you can process it. Understanding those experiences will bring you strength, and this is very much Leo energy. So there's some certain things that are still kind of unfolding after the Leo eclipse that just passed, that you just need to process. You have 2 fire cards in here in the root chakra. So the will is of the essence. Your will power is of the essence. You are needed to really say, okay, you know what, I'm gonna just focus on this for a hot minute, because I need to give this my undivided attention in order for me to actually grow and go back to my glow up, because my glow up is stagnant right now because I'm stuck in mental mud. For your sacral space, we have the King of Swords and the Sun. Talking about stuck in mental mud. In the blockages, this is like 2 of the worst cards to get in the blockage, especially for your sacral space, because it really means that you are not only mentally blocking your healing in your sacral space, but also that there's no light there. There's something trapped, and it's dark and it's heavy, and it's not, it just doesn't make you feel good. It's just kind of like it's a very weird kind of trauma, because it is mental. It's almost like you're kind of creating a trauma out of something that could have been very much a good thing for you, that illuminates and shows a part of your ego which you do not necessarily want to accept about yourself, but it's necessary. And because of this conflict that's happening internally, it's just blocked. That whole space is blocked. The best way to heal this week, we have Temperance and Justice. Now notice that all in the past, the root chakra and the sacral chakra, we've had all the fire signs come out. So Temperance is now in the sacral space. So there is a will is of the, like, it's time is of the essence. It's a, because fire signs don't, fire doesn't want to wait for it to move. It just wants to burn things. It wants to go and continue to expand. It doesn't want to stop. There's no stopping the fire. And so you're really, with Temperance specifically, it's asking you to see balance, because your willpower needs to be balanced. It can't just be an influx of you struggling, mentally struggling, like emotionally, to process stuff, and then your willpower just taking a dip and you not actually doing anything. You still need to live your life. So with Temperance and Justice, you need to understand, especially when it comes to the situation, and if it was somebody that was lying to you, or you found out a very big a very big truth this past week, then you need to understand that a lot of this has to do with karma. A lot of this has to do with balance, because Justice and Temperance, they both ask you to balance this out. There needs to be a balance that comes from whatever the situation is. But Justice specifically tells you that this is a karmic thing. Something is being dealt with on a righteous kind of level. There is something that the way this needed to play out, it needed to play out this way because you needed to find out this way. You needed to understand it this way. You needed to process it this way, because it was the edge that was going to tip you over into making a decision, into actually coming back into your power, into bringing back the fire, the reason why you do things. There is a reason, and there's a lot of, I can definitely see why there's some people that are going to be in court. They might not necessarily like the full result or the full outcome this week. If you are going to court, you're not necessarily going to like the full outcome, but it's also necessary. It needs to be balanced out. It needs to be fair. Aside from whatever feelings you're having about the situation, there's something definitely karmic here that's happening. Also check your soul ties this week, because there are some, because I'm getting the message that there are some that need to break free from some soul ties this week towards other people, that their time is up, but since you've tied them in a past lifetime, they're still, their energy is still lingering, and you need to shake that shit off. For the solar plexus, we have the Fool and the Eight of Cups in reverse, not in reverse, I'm sorry, in the blockage. This combination tells you, like, you know that you need to move forward, that you need to let go of something, but you have not started the journey of the Fool. You have not started the journey of leaving emotionally and really accepting that you can't move forward anymore in this emotional situation. So your willpower, as far as your emotions, are blocked. So your mind is wrecking a little bit of your lowest chakras, and with your solar plexus, it's like your emotions are a little bit blocked, because you're still holding on, and even though the universe keeps telling you, like, hey, fresh start is here, you're not taking it. There's a friction and there's a stubbornness from the situation that you really need to shake, because it's messing up your willpower when when you can't take the role of the emperor and really say, okay, I need to do what needs to do, because I have to get to that's the goal over there, I need to get there, however, whichever road I have to get on to get there, that's what I'm going to do. So it's really about going on that journey, and that journey will require you to leave some things that were not meant for you. The best way to heal that with this week, we have the Eight of Coins and the Eight of Swords. And this speaks on being mindful to that which you need to work on the physical realm, like where you need to show up. The Eight of Pentacles requires you to show up in real life, show up and work, put in the work. I need to see results. That's what is asking you to do. And then the Eight of Swords is asking you to be mindful of where you are restricting yourself mentally. So when you are at work, and you obviously, our minds are free, even though yes, there's many ways where your minds aren't, but when you're at work, you could be at work and you could be working, but you could be thinking about something else. So you be mindful of where you're forced to physically be present, but where your mind is restricted to some degree when it comes to this specific situation, and why you're allowing it to be. If you notice, there's 3 eights that came out for the solar plexus space. So obviously there's a lot of, and I'm not even surprised the Strength came out in the root chakra, because it rules all the 8 cards. So you are being asked to have strength. You are being asked to break these mental cycles and really get to work and really focus on what you need to do, because regardless of the fact, you need to show up. You need to show up. You can't not show up. Like, even though you don't feel good, you're required to show up. So welcome to the world. Okay, for the heart chakra, we have the Magician, the Chariot, the Hierophant, the 6 of Cups, the Knight of Swords, the 9 of Wands, and then we have the King of Pentacles. So this is a situation which, okay, let's explain it in the many different forms that this is. There's definitely a situation this week that has to do with soulmates, soul ties, soul. You can call them kindred spirits. You can call it, like, it all falls under soulmates. I'm just going to use the term soulmates, but there is very much a soulmate situation here that happened, and they come in with a lot of power. This is something that's, you've had a relationship with them before in a couple of past lives. I can definitely see that. It's been a couple of different past lives that this kind of has come back to you. And this soul tie is actually very powerful. The Magician hints at the connection. This is also Mercury, so don't forget. And this is the card of Cancer, with the Chariot, this being Taurus card. But this connection, especially with this card, hints at it being something that you were very much grounded in before. Something that you, in whether in that past life you've had, it was a successful connection. It was something that helped you grow It was something that helped you thrive and be your best self, your higher self, connected to your powers, your abilities. And this person is showing up in this lifetime, and because of the way the world is today, you're not necessarily so comfortable with how they're showing, like accepting what this connection is entirely. The Knight of Swords, the Knight of Wands, it's really saying, wait, I feel kind of overwhelmed by the intensity of this connection, by how powerful, how this person makes me feel, how they kind of make me be a better version of myself, because that's also this. There is kind of a lack of acceptance of how much this person actually grounds you and helps you progress. But there's almost like a, oh man, but I've had so many like bad experiences when it comes to love or connecting with people in this current lifetime, where I'm just kind of like, it's kind of hard for me to put myself into accepting how powerful this is. But it's actually a very, very powerful love connection situation that has just been kind of brewing for a hot minute. With the Chariot, it's literally, even though it's in the blockage, this is going to continue to push through, because the lesson is still there. This person's coming in with a lesson that will put you more in your power than you have been in a really long time. And it's something, of course, Aquarius season will bring this out of us, right? Aquarius connected to our higher selves, and like being that which is able to see, like disconnect in order to see the actual thing and the actual truth of what the situation is. And what this situation is a very powerful, it's a powerful force. It's a powerful like connection. Like I can see this being something that's very grounding, like ultimately can bring you a lot of, in the physical realm, a lot of money, a lot of success, a lot of like really putting out your ideas. That they can help you really develop your creativity, your drive, like what you want to do. So there's a lot of power here, and it's kind of almost like really, I can see why some people might be a little bit scared and shaky about it. But the best way to heal that this week, we have the Lovers, the 10 of Wands in reverse, and the 2 of Cups. So it's really just about stop struggling to accept this and just accept this type of thing. That's really what this is saying. It's just like, hey, you don't have to make this into a struggle. Like, we get it. You've gone through a lot of stuff before, and you've been in the position where you just can't trust. You just can't. It's a little bit difficult. Like, hold up. Like, wait, this is getting too serious. These words that you're using are a little bit too intense for me. But hey, the connection is still here. So you're gonna have to address that, because that's what's asking you to be addressed. It's not, okay, well, in my past I did. No, that was your past. We're talking about right now, though. You know what I'm saying? You living in a moment. This is time we're talking in right now. And right now you are being asked to address the connection, because it's really, really intense. It goes back for a really long time. I'm seeing centuries for some people. And it's very powerful, and it can make you a better person, but you need to allow it to actually be in your space. You need to allow it to kind of manifest. You need to allow it to, or if this person, I see for a lot of people that this person is already in your life, you just need to really like accept it. Like, I get it, Valentine's Day is coming soon, and people hate, like a lot of people hate it, a lot of people love it, because, you know, love stuff and all the stuff, and it makes people all, you ever think it, you ever thought, you ever question why Valentine's Day falls under Aquarius? The one sign that nobody thinks to be about love and stuff. You would be like, nah, it has to be one of the water signs, right? No, boo, it's Aquarius. Why? Because we have to literally sit here and collectively look and be like, wait, what is it that I know? How is it that I am processing what I feel, the connections I have, the intensity of these connections? How am I processing it? Aquarius season brings in the energy for you to disconnect, to be like, okay, So that's what that was. That's what that was, and that's why this person's name keeps popping up. That's why I see it everywhere. That's why I like I can't drive an Uber with their name not being on it. That's why my mind just keeps running right back into this moment. That's why if like I don't know, like it hurts to know like that they're not they wouldn't be in my life. Like there's just stuff that will come up where it'll make you realize that the more you do this, the more pain you're bringing on yourself, and it's just not worth it. So with the throat chakra, we have the 5 of Swords and the 9 of Coins. So you guys are really stopping your glow up. There's some people that are really like verbally not allowing yourselves to really be in your power when it comes to your voice. And I've seen a lot of blockages when it comes to your like people speaking. It's kind of weird, especially for me because I'm a Gemini moon, so I can talk all day. I can talk all day, but it's just such a weird thing for me when people just don't, you know, I'm like, use your vowels. But some people are definitely stopping their own glow up, and it has to do with a situation where it's almost like they feel different than other people. They feel like they're not going to be understood. They feel this is like really harsh energy, because it's the 5 of Swords in this placement. It's like, especially with this coming up in the blockage, it's like you're getting, I can see some people getting bullied, or some people getting, whether it's spiritually getting bullied, which is a thing, by the way, in a way where it's almost makes you feel weird to be anything different, or to, I don't know, have different gifts, or to understand, or to hear voices even. I definitely see that all the time. In a way that it makes you stop, like it doesn't make you want to communicate or use the gifts, and like, especially if you hear things, if you're a person that like hears messages and all this stuff, it makes you not want to use this area for some reason. And I always say this to myself, because there's sometimes that I'll be standing next to someone and I'll get a message for them, and I promised myself a long time ago that if I got a message for someone, I would have to tell them. Like, I'm not fighting that, because that's not my message. It's not meant for me. It's meant for that other person. So there is a time where you need to speak up. There's a time where you need to just like I need to tell you this. I need to communicate this. I need to and every time you speak it into, it connects you back to your power, because you're able to be like, you know what, I said what I said, and I know that's what I needed to do, so I'm just gonna keep it moving. And a lot of the time people are really grateful and surprised that it happened, so it's kind of like it makes you like, oh wait, okay. But this is really a situation where it's stopping you from really coming into your own, and it's a problem. It's a problem. The best way to heal that this week, we have the 2 of Swords, the Page of Cups in reverse, and then we have the Queen of Cups. So this is like, okay, boo, so you intuitive, I need you to stop acting like you a baby intuitive person, and you need to come back into the elevated version of you. A lot of people need to do a lot of divination work, especially under this Scorpio moon. Connect back to your water elements. Especially, you would think that's weird, water and air. No. Connect back to your elements, because a lot of this has to do with you speaking things and not allowing yourself to be blocked to your own abilities, blocking your intuition specifically. It's not asking you to be there's no low level witches here. There's no such thing as a low level witch, okay? There's only you and how you continue to practice, and your practice makes you more powerful, and it's how you see yourself ultimately that matters. And that is the point. It's not like there's a lot of people that really want to think that they're lower than what they are, and yes, some people are on an elevated vibration, and yes, that does occur, but that doesn't mean that you're not as powerful, or you're not as that you don't have any power, or that you are not where you're supposed to be right now. Like, this is still how you're supposed to maintain your level of connection to your spirit, to your intuition. You're still supposed to be on this level at all times. The Queen of Cups is not going to keep changing into other queens. She's going to be the Queen of Cups at the end of the day. You still need to be your own, an elevated self of you, but you're still the Queen of Cups. Like, accepting these gifts and accepting your ability to grow, and not trying to dumb down or like dismiss what you are and who you are. No, you that bitch. Like, What are we talking about here? Just because, yes, there are people that are very powerful, they've been practicing for 20 to 30 years, that does not mean that you cannot do what you're supposed to do. That does not mean that you cannot speak with confidence. That does not mean that you do not have gifts. Like, boo. A gift is a gift. Like, you're gonna have to use it the way, whatever way it comes forth. So stop downplaying yourself. You need to speak power out of your mouth, especially when it comes to the relationship that you have with yourself. That's a big one this week. Okay, so the blockage for the third eye. We have the 4 of coins, and then we have the 7 of wands. There's a lot of anxiety and stubbornness. A lot of people, again, you guys don't really want to come into your power. So there's a lot of stubbornness and a lot of, like, anxiety when it comes to what you know. Like, you don't want to do anything about what you know, but then you kind of keep getting attacked with messages. And it's kind of, when you become a channel for spirit, it's a wrap, boo. Like, what are you gonna do? Like, what when you become a channel for spirit, you do not have a choice but to hear them. You don't, I mean, you can ask them not to come to you, but then the other synchronicities will happen, and then you will have to come forth and be like, okay, please help me, or please, you know, there's levels to this. The more that you elevate your you kind of allow and integrate your gifts into yourself, the better you are at not feeling like this kind of anxiety where you have to kind of feel like you're kind of battling all these other things, and like you're getting overwhelmed a tad bit of a lot of it. It's really unnecessary, because it comes from your own stubbornness. In order for you can let it flow very easily, or you can let it be like this tower crazy moment where everything is just falling apart, especially for your third eye. Like, all your third eye is asking you to do is see, look at what's going on, connect with your intuition, your inner guidance. Like, see what's going on. If you're getting dreams, I can see that a lot this week, actually. If you're getting a lot of dreams, if you're getting a lot of different messages, if you're hearing voices, okay, nobody's literally right now, nobody is going to die because you are getting these type of messages. If anything, there is a purpose and a reason as to why. Accept your gifts. Listen, I have to give you guys one or more of these type of speeches. Y'all gonna get it. The best way to heal that this week are the Page of Coins and the Moon. Card of Pisces. Intuition, creativity, vision, illusion, like intuition. Like, there's a need to connect, and the Page of Pentacles really is asking you to set the intention for you to connect properly to your gifts. There's something that needs to be, like, again, opened up and just for it to flow naturally into your life, instead of you trying to create friction and you trying to kind of fight it and kind of make excuses and, no, but you know, I'm not that type of person. Like, oh no, you know, I have a cousin that, you know, they read cards, or they, you know, they know things without, you know, my mom has dreams all the time, and they're like, you know, you are cut from the same tree, boo. Accept your gifts. Accept your gifts. Plant the seeds for better, for you to be better, for you to be stronger, for you to accept your power. Like, why are we talking about power right now? Why is that? And it's funny because that's the message that came up for me today. While I was meditating on my cards when I read today, it was a message I got from Spirit was, there's people that are afraid of your power, even people that love you. And I was like, well, they gonna have to get used to that. Because, you know, me being a Leo rising, again, and I wrote this in a post on IG if you want to read it, but me being a Leo rising really makes it so I get along with people in a certain way, and I attract people, I magnetize people. That's just, I cannot change that. That's just my exterior is. But being a Leo rising speaks on power and beauty, but a lot of people just want to focus on the beauty, but they forget that a lion will eat your ass. They will eat you. There's this video I saw on Instagram where some guy was stupid enough to go into the lion's den at a zoo, and he got, like, literally his neck was just like he was still alive, but he was everywhere. They had mercy, because he could, that one lion that grabbed him right here for like 20 seconds could have just been like, whoop, and he would have been dead. I don't know if he survived, but in the video he was still kind of like. So I'm like, I don't know if he survived or not, but there's levels. People forget the power. People go up to other people and they forget that they are powerful as well. And people do that to me too, because because it's like, it's so easy for me to be like, you know, smiley into like, because that's, you know, that's who I am. That's, yes, my Leo rising is a part of me, but it's also an illusion. It's an illusion for me to hold the power of the sun in my exterior and be able to reflect your ego back to you. It's an illusion for me to stand here and be like, oh yeah, you know, we're chilling, we're having a good time, and be all happy and smiley and like make you feel comfortable around me, because it happens naturally, because that's just what the power of the sun brings to me. But it's an illusion, because I will kill that let me stop. No, but people forget my power. It's really, and some people are very intimidated by it. They can see it, they see the smiley and everything, but then they also start seeing my power, and they're like, oh, so she does that, oh, and then they kind of start seeing me a little bit like, oh, wait, and they kind of start leaning back and stuff, like the song. But it's kind of like, bruh, that's cute and all, but you have to understand, I am both beauty and power. That it's part of being a Leo rising, and it's about that. Like, you need to understand that people will see you a certain way, but they will not even see your power, especially when you don't even address yours. I fully integrate mine into my life, and ashe, but it's important for you to really look at yourself. Look at how others see you. Look at the things that they put on you. Look at why things kind of like, why they always see, like, and again, this goes into astrology, because you can easily look at your rising sign and be like, oh, that's why they see me that way, that's why they think I'm this way, that's why. But you can use that as a good thing. I always say this, especially with people I'm like, I don't now vibing with in a room. I will use my Leo rising to not even make it seem like I have a problem with anybody. Like, I'm just like, but that person got that vibe that I'm not dealing with. Like, it's about understanding your power. That rising, all of your placements are power. They're abilities that you have. Different signs, each sign has its own gift, and you're able to really look at each one and break it down and be like, okay. Like, if you have a lot of Gemini placements, congratulations. You are the messenger. That means that you, a lot of people, especially with heavy Gemini placements, and I've said this before, there's a lot of people with heavy Gemini placements that end up going to the psychiatrist and seeing someone, which is not a bad thing, but seeing someone because they'll start hearing voices, and there's certain things, and then it starts being, oh, well, they're this, they're schizophrenic, they're this, they're starting to see things, and then they get kind of blocked off into like, oh, you're crazy, or you have some certain mental issues, or mental illnesses, when in all actuality, you could just have, like, the way your placements are set up, it could be like you don't have enough earth energy in your chart, that you have so much air that all you are is in your headspace. And it's just like, when you look at your chart, you're able to understand a lot of who you are, a lot of why it's set up the way it's set up, why certain things are supposed to be a gift, especially people with air placements, especially people with water placements, because a lot of you guys are meant to be creative, meant to communicate to the masses, meant to keep the air flowing in a room, meant to keep the emotions moving in a room, in between people. It's connective energy. It's also disconnected energy in many ways, but it's really about understanding your power. Like, if you're an Aquarius, your power is to disconnect for you to see. You're able to literally, Aquariuses can pinpoint where issues are in milliseconds. Sometimes they don't even need to detach fully. They just need to be like, what's that? Okay. But now that's not working, and that's why. And they'll be able to tell you very quickly why it's not working. They also are very good at giving advice, so find your local Aquarius. But there's levels. Like, if you're a Scorpio, you cannot meet a Scorpio who will not transform your life. They bring that energy into other people. It's not just themselves. Like, they'll bring it into you. Like, they'll say that one thing that will get stuck in your head, and you will not forget it. Like, it would just be haunting you. And why is it haunting you? Because there's a trauma there. Like, there's There's levels. Like, even if you meet in Aries, you'll find inspiration in how they move, how fast they move. Like, it'll make you think and make you kind of check yourself about, why aren't you focusing on something? Why don't you have a direction? There's certain people that will come into your lives to make you really check your own power, your own abilities. Because a lot of the time you have all the same kind of qualities, but you're not actually, you know, doing your due diligence to integrate it and actually come into your power properly. So I say this whole entire speech to say that it's about knowing yourself. It's about accepting yourself, including the parts that seem like are negative or maybe are talked down by people, especially when it comes to gifts. Because, you know, if you're hearing voices, but if you're not going to church, then you got demon possessed. That's one of my most, like, the one thing I hate about Christians. Oh my god, you guys, oh my god, they be the ones that be out here like, well, in the Bible it says that, you know, we are made in his image, right? So if we're made in his image, and also in the Bible it says that I have the choice to pick to be in this or not be in this, regardless, I'm still made in his image. And because his image has power, I must also have power. So that means that even if I don't use it while I'm going to church, I still have power, though. It doesn't just stop because I'm not here. Like, there's levels of stupidity in Christianity. I can't even start to begin to even talk about this. But guys, the way they make you restrict your power, restrict your, like, oh no, if you're doing that outside of the church, it's a bad thing. You know how many people in Christianity and, like, the church, like, they practice hoodoo and they practice all these things? They be out here lighting candles with different things. And I'm out here like, oh, so because you're in the church, it's not hoodoo, it's something else, right? But then when you're not in it, they want to demonize it. It just doesn't make any sense. Like, logically, it doesn't make any sense. And that's one of the tactics used from a really young age, that when you get brought up into this shit, from a really young age, well, you see, like, where your power will start getting suppressed and restricted. Like, you know, you have to be this in order to have this. You have to, in order for you to really, like, be and have these, no, you have to be in this. Mind you, like, when I was little, I used to get prophetic dreams all the time. Prophetic dreams is actually something in my household that we take very seriously. Like, my mom would have a dream, I would have a dream, my sister would have a dream, and we would come collectively and we would talk about it. Like, my sister, actually, she had a dream that 2 people in her church were gonna die, and one of them was a pastor, and he hasn't passed yet, but the person that the first person that she saw just passed recently. And now she, like, one of the things that the part of her dream was, like, he had to apologize for something that he did. So he actually went on the podium and he apologized or whatnot, but then he went back to doing the same thing. So the karma's gonna catch up to him soon. And it's kind of like that. Like, when she had a dream, she went to tell my mom. They went straight to the pastor, like, hey, she had a dream and this is what she saw. You're gonna die. Like, and just like that. And my sister kind of gets freaked out sometimes because she doesn't like, she's still doing a lot of death work as far as accepting death work, because we're all very much connected to that kind of energy. And as far as doing it, she's still like, and I used to be like that when I was younger, but I had to accept, you know, when you start, again, I've said it before, when you start hearing voices, it's a wrap. You're just gonna have to accept that shit because it's what it is. But dream work it's a really big thing in my family, because especially with the Bible, it's seen as something prophetic, like God is sending you this message, this vision, all this stuff. But guess what? I still get prophetic dreams, and I still tell my mom, and I am not going to church, and I am not in that space, but it's still valid. I'm still being able to use these abilities. It doesn't have to be checked in terms and be in this exclusive little club thing to no, you can still be powerful on your own, and that's the point. Like, the answers in the detail. They say the devil's in the details. It's actually the answers. Take it from a Capricorn. So the best way to heal your crown space this week, we have the Ace of Wands in reverse, the Knight of Pentacles, the 10 of Cups in reverse. Oh no, wait, no. this was the blockage for the crown space. It was the Ace of Wands and then the Knight of Pentacles. So there's a disconnect from the journey and who you are and your grounded earth energy. I mean, we talked about it enough, so I'm not even going to get into it. So your crown is blocked because your higher self is meeting that wall between your actual physical self. Best way to heal that this week, I have the Ten of Cups in reverse and the Two of Wands. This means that in a way, and the reason why this reminded me of that episode from Avatar, if you have not seen the scene, or if you never watched Avatar The Last Airbender, I suggest you do watch it because it's an awesome show and it's one of my favorites. But in one of the episodes, and you can actually look this up on YouTube, there is this one episode where they're breaking up the chakras. They're literally talking about the chakras, and I was just like, I love that episode. It was so good. So he goes up to this mountain to talk to this I don't want to call him a monk, but he's, I guess that's closest to a shaman kind of, but he lives alone up in this mountain, and he just, you know, he's very enlightened, I could tell you that. And the reason why this reminded me of that is because one of the chakras, when he gets to the crown chakra, he what he has to do in order to connect to his crown chakra is, what the guy said, the monk said, what the shaman said, was that he needed to let go of all earthly connections, like all earthly and emotional possessions. In order for him to connect to this one space, he needed to go alone. He can't carry his heart with him. He can't carry anything with him that's on the lower levels. He needs to be able to just take his spirit up there. And so Aang got mad because he was like, wait, in my heart chakra, you just told me that I had to accept that I was in love with her, and now you're telling me to release her. How am I supposed to release her? I just, like, admitted that I loved her. Like, it was like a very much like a moment of, wait, so I address my heart here, but then when I get up here, I can't have this person. And that the reason why this reminded me of that is because that's what it's saying. You see how the Ten of Cups is in reverse, but the Two of Wands is there? This is a very connective energy about you. Like, you can only go into this space alone. Like, you are not, you cannot bring your heart into this space because, I mean, there's a lot of love up there anyway, but when it comes to speaking and talking to your higher self already knows what's going on. It already knows what's going on. It already knows the issues, the struggles, what's happening. Your higher self already knows. And it's mostly about you being able to hear the messages from your higher self without holding bias and without really creating a friction or issue for yourself more than it needs to be. Like, you don't need to let this be a struggle. You don't need to let this be a friction. You don't need to bring this kind of conflict that's happening in the heart chakra this week, especially with this karmic love, up there. You could just go up there and ask for guidance and be like, hey, you know, what should I focus on? What is it? What your higher self is really going to tell you about? It's going to be the journey. Like, what are you looking at long terms? How this year looking like for you? We're going to get to this Ten of Cups. It's going to be like this, sure, but this is more on the physical realm. When you're dealing with the heart chakra, it's the midway point. So it can fall up or it can fall down. It could be either or the way it affects it, and a lot of times the way that we want it affects it, it's in the physical realm. We do not want to have a karmic love on a spiritual level because then we never get to touch them. We never get to feel them. And those type of loves are the ones that are still in the cosmos, in our past lives, in the distance in many ways. And it's beautiful, but it's necessary for us to allow this love to be the way it is and allow ourselves to be connected in the way that we need to be connected. And ultimately, that's to ourselves. I'm not going to pull an oracle this time because I feel like it was a lot of messages. But I will see you guys in the next video. I have a lot of videos coming up. Thank you for all the love and support. And yeah, don't forget to subscribe.